Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name is Francis Wario. I'm the agronomist at Coopers, and today I'd like us to talk about how we can do a kitchen garden at home and a hanging garden where we hang our crops in pots in a nice place inside the house or around the perimeter of the house, and so that we can have some aesthetic value and also even get some vegetables that we can eat. So welcome. Now you can choose the pot or the container in which you'll put your potted plants from various different types of containers. We like the recycled water bottles because you can do all kinds of things with them. You can take the 10-liter or 20-liter water bottle. It's especially nice because you can hang it suspended from the neck, and once you plant your crops around, it develops into a nice bushy hanging garden that looks really nice. But you can also decide to use maybe the smaller jars cut in half and suspended from side to side and extended on the side. These ones can fit in places where you need some tight-fitting pots. You can also decide if you have an elongated place that you'd like to hang your pot. You can use a pipe, for example, a 4-inch pipe cut lengthwise and then stopped on both sides, and then you fill it with your soil. And that also makes a nice potted plant, a nice hanging garden for an elongated space. Remember to hang your potted plants or your hanging gardens in places where they can get enough sunlight, and also remember to water them as often as you can. And this will help you to improve the aesthetic value of your home and also give you some satisfaction in growing plants even when you're indoors and confined because of coronavirus. In my case, I looked for a 10-liter water bottle. It's best to have one that has a slender head, a slender neck at the top. You find that the material of the plastic at the neck is stronger. So you start by poking a hole in the neck of the bottle at the point where it's strong, about 2 centimeters or 3 centimeters below the top, in a straight line. You can poke it with a hot nail, put the nail in fire, make it a bit hot, and then it will pierce through the plastic easily. Once you do that, make sure the hole is nice and burnt out so that it becomes hard, so that it will not in future break or tear. Next, you proceed to cut holes in your bottle. You cut holes roughly 2 centimeters diameter. Again, you can use a hot knife. We found that to be the best way to do it. Mark the holes first before you cut, 6 inches spacing between holes, and try to stagger the holes so that one line is above the other line and in a staggered manner all the way around the bottle. And that way you'll have a good spacing for your plants, and you'll have a good population and they won't look crowded. And each plant will have enough space to be able to grow on its own. Remember to poke a few holes at the bottom of the bottle. Look at a point which is just at the bottom. I poked 3 holes in my case. They should be small holes just around the diameter of the nail that you used. And this is to assist in drainage. Because you'll be watering, you don't want water to stick in the soil. You want excess water to flow down so that you don't have problems with water logging, which will reduce the potential for your roots to grow well. So once you've done that, then you go out to mix your soil. Remember, your soil should come from a source that it's not from a potato or tomato or cabbage farm. Garden soil is best. or lawn grass soil and mix it well with your manure, as we shall now demonstrate. So look for good topsoil. That soil that is loose. Red soil is okay. You can get this from your garden. I've got my soil. I put in about roughly 10 kilos, 5 to 10 kilos of soil. And my soil is wet. If you're going to put dry soil, ensure that you water it later on. And then I get my manure. You can use farmyard manure. This is manure either from cows or from goats or from chicken. All these manures are okay as long as the manure itself is dry and the manure is fine. That means it's not clumpy and it's not wet, because that means that it's mature. If it's not mature, then it's going to have problems for your crops, and also it attracts insects that you don't want in your hanging garden. So I'm going to mix my manure roughly 1 to 1. That is half manure and half soil. So I'll take my manure, which is also about 5 kilos. Remember to remove all the stones. So once you have done that, the next thing is to fill your jar with the soil, and then from there you just simply plant. So I will simply scoop a bit of it. I'm pouring it using a funnel. Make sure you fill the soil so that you can cover up to the topmost hole. So this was our topmost hole, so we make sure the soil inside goes up to this level. And that should be good enough. Remember the top, this is where we'll be doing our watering. So you need to leave that one open. Remove the masking tape and proceed to plant your crop. I'm going to plant managus, which have been taken seedlings from a nursery, but you can plant almost anything that you wish to plant. If the roots are too many, you may want to clip them at the end, because you need to have a good balance of roots and stems. You punch a hole and you press it in with your finger so that the soil comes back around. Bring some more soil with your finger and gently squeeze the roots so that they're nice and firm. Being careful not to squeeze the stem onto the bottom part of the hole. So you do that for all the holes. As you squeeze the seedling root with your thumb inside the hole, squeeze in a downward manner, and this will make the seedling to stand up, and it will create a little bit of a vacuum. As the bottle settles, then the soil will settle down into that space and it will farm your seedling into place, and therefore it will make the seedling to grow laterally and up. For those of us who are new in farming, as you are transplanting, there is what we call transplant shock. That means you've removed the seedling from its natural environment. It will be droopy at first until it gets a new environment for the roots to be able to start absorbing water so that the seedling can go back to its normal state. So that's the period of transplant shock, and we'll talk about how we can help the plant to overcome that transplant shock faster. So once you've planted all the holes, then you're ready to suspend the hanging bottle. So that's where we'll go next. Once you identify where you want to hang the garden, for us we'll hang it on this balcony that you can see. Make sure you prepare your hanging point. We've put hooks and we've secured them as strongly as we can. Ensure that it's strong enough to hold the weight of the 10 to 20 kilo hanging pot. Make sure that the hook can withstand the weight of the pot that you're going to use. Ensure you have good strong rope or string. This is a good diameter of string to have. Nylon string is among the strongest that you can buy. So you put it through the holes in the neck that we made. And like I said before, we put the holes in the neck because that's the strongest part of the bottle. It's less likely to break from the weight. We thread it through the two holes. And you measure, you test it for strength. There we go. And it looks like we are good to go. Once you get the position or the length of hanging that you want, in my case I want to do about 2 feet. So that's about 2 feet there. And this is where I will commence to make my knot. You may need some help. And there you have your hanging garden ready to go. So remember to water it before you leave so that it's nice and cool, and then you can leave it. Water it at least once a day until you're sure the seedlings have established or the roots have started growing nicely. The soil itself will naturally settle and cover the cavities that you made in the holes. So we'd like to recommend a few tips to you on some things you can add that will help you to get good results from your hanging garden plants. And we recommend that you start your plant off with a product called AfriKelp. AfriKelp is an organic biostimulant. You apply it at the rate of 2 milliliters per liter of water. And apply it right at the beginning because it helps the plant to establish good, strong roots. And once it establishes good roots, that's the beginning. You give your plant a good head start and it's on your way to developing a good crop. Next, you can also add a foliar fertilizer that we call Harmony. Harmony is also an organic, very good organic foliar fertilizer that supplies the nitrogen that the crop will need to produce good, strong, leafy shoots. And this will help you also to get good product, good crop very fast. And you again apply this at the rate of 2 milliliters per 1 liter of water. If you encounter insect problems, and you are likely to encounter insects such as aphids, especially in this weather, then you can apply a product known as Jackpot. Jackpot is a very good insecticide. It's very safe. You can use the product or the crops after 3 or 4 days after application, and apply it at the rate of 1 milliliter per 2 liters of water. And you should be able to overcome any of your pest problems. Repeat the application again after about 5 days if you see that the insects are persisting. Thank you very much for listening in on this hanging gardens demonstration, and I hope it's been of some help. Give us some feedback, give us a call, send us pictures of what you are able to do. We'd like to see how you're getting on. And so all the best. Everybody keep safe. We'll come back with more ideas on what you can do in terms of doing something in agriculture during this time when you're at home. So thank you very much and all the best.